Right, welcome everyone to this very special JodyJazz live stream, and welcome Jody. How are you doing, Jody?
Good, Daniel. Thanks again for hosting this thing.
No problem at all. Really excited. We're gonna be doing this across three different continents, so it's definitely a first for me. But yeah, we're happy to be here for this very special event featuring Jay Metcalf from BetterSax, and yeah, we're gonna be talking about all things mouthpieces and especially the HR style custom dark mouthpieces, which we have three in the line now. And maybe Jody, while we wait for people to come in, maybe you can share more about this entire series of mouthpieces.
Well, it's been it's a really interesting journey for me because I started on the tenor, and I thought it was going to be a very specialty mouthpiece because it's really on the dark side. And for me, I've been playing mouthpieces that are louder. And so when I started making it, I started using that, of what does he call it? The deflector, yeah, Jazz Lab deflector. So because I was used to hearing this louder sound, and so I put that deflector on. It was bringing the sound back to me, and the more I got into it, I got into the beauty of the tone, and now I don't feel I need the deflector at all. I don't know if I've gotten more projection out of the mouthpiece now myself or something, but it was a real tone journey for me, and it keyed me into this beauty thing. And what's been so surprising is how people have responded to this series. Each one we release, people are jumping on it. And so, and there were more tenor pieces in this zone, but I was looking for a certain thing, and just, that the mouthpiece responded and popped back to me feedback. And then when I did the alto, there were really almost no mouthpiece that I could find in the zone of what I was trying to do. And same with soprano. And what shocked me the most is the reception on the soprano. The fact that we have Kirk Whalum and Tom Scott and Jeff Koshawa, all contemporary artists, jumping to the custom dark soprano just shocked me. But it's the move to beauty, and it's been a really cool journey for me and my own sound and concept.
Yeah, and we just launched the HR Star Custom Duck like 2 weeks ago. And it's just so wonderful, having so many people leave comments that they're loving not just the soprano mouthpiece, but the alto and tenor as well. So yeah, I've been loving mine as well. I got them really, really early on, and still enjoying them as part of my whole collection. But once in a while, the Super Jet is great as well. But definitely loving these custom dark mouthpieces. So let's jump in and say hi to some people who are here early. Raul says great work on those mouthpieces.
Thank you, Raul.
Jazzy, happy Wednesday to you too. Stefan from the northern parts of Norway. Yes,
Hey.
we know this time slot is definitely a lot better for our European friends, friends of the JodyJazz family. So we're so thankful that you are here. Um, Carl, nice to see you, Carl. Let's see.
I saw you skipped over, guys. So give me a free JodyJazz.
So we have Chris saying after corresponding with Jody through the 6 questions, he's excited to have a custom duck and HR star on order and get in to try. So that's awesome.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
Chris.
and maybe since we're on that topic, Jody, would you mind sharing a bit more about the 6 questions and how people can find you and ask you?
Sure. I started it 21 years ago when I started the website, and I just thought that it's really difficult to figure out what mouthpiece to get. You don't know the company. At that time, we only had one mouthpiece, but I still put the 6 questions up there just for the tip opening. And now we have a lot of mouthpieces, and people tell me what they're playing. Anywhere on the website, jodyjazz.com, you can find this 6-question button. And we'll be bringing Jay in a minute, but Jay has been really helpful to our business this year. During the pandemic, he's got so many students, and a lot of them have seen our videos or the 6 questions or something, and so I'm getting a lot of BetterSax students, and it's very rewarding when somebody we go through. We sometimes have a back and forth. And then they write me and they say, "Man, I'm loving it. I can't believe the difference." And it's so rewarding because and I think the students of Jay that are availing themselves of their courses and stuff are doing a great thing, because so they got that support, and then when you're ready, you get the mouthpiece, and we support you with the right reed and different things, and you're on your way instead of like coming into roadblocks.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just dropped the link to the 6 questions in the comments, so you can
Cool.
click on it and answer the 6 questions there, and Jody will personally reply to you with his best recommendations for you. We
Yep.
have Angel who says he bought a Jet just 2 days ago and it's the best mouthpiece he's ever played. Wow.
Wow. What reed are you using on it, Angel? I'm curious.
Yeah, let us
Get
know in the
back to us.
comments.
Yeah.
I see a lot of questions really, which we'll definitely cycle back and leave a lot of time
Okay.
for questions. So
Sure.
maybe I'll skip this for now.
Okay.
Um, we have David here. He says he's looking forward to opportunity to win one of these mouthpieces. Yes, there's Jay has already started a giveaway, which we'll share more later, and we'll put the link in the comments later as well.
And
The
Daniel,
Jeff,
let me say,
yeah,
excuse me, if
no,
somebody wants to buy one and then they win, we can refund their money.
wow,
Okay. So
that's awesome.
if they
Yeah.
want to just go for it, and so go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So maybe I will share the link to the JodyJazz website now as well, the page where it has all the HR style custom dark mouthpieces. Of course, you can definitely buy from any of the dealers worldwide, or you can look directly on the website as well. So hi Jeff and Christopher, nice to see you. Wow, Joey
Ah,
D Francesco is here.
the
Wow,
great
thank you
one,
so much. Wow.
the great one, and he is sounding, man, he's sounding great on saxophones. I can't
Yeah, I
wait to
think
your
he
album, Joey. Can't wait.
I think he's playing a 10-star giant.
Yes, and he's got the custom dark too, and he's like, I keep coming back to the giant, but he's
Mm,
very close on that. He's sounding
mm,
great on alto. I
mm,
think it's a big custom dark. I think
mm,
so, but it's been really cool. Joey is so passionate about music, and I love talking to him.
mm.
Uh,
Wow.
and he became an official JodyJazz endorser recently. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's very
that's
cool.
that's amazing.
He's
Yeah,
got
I
all kind
think
of vintage mouthpieces too, but
yeah,
he's
and
liking
vintage
our stuff.
saxophones. Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
Daniel, we need to tell everybody that I would, I'm such a ham. Normally I'd be playing all these mouthpieces, but the
Yeah,
sound rig that I got set up, it's not happening. So
yeah, I
whatever it
know
is through
technology.
StreamYard or
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like, I've done more than 100 live streams and still things go wrong, week after week. So yeah, today Jody won't be playing live, but we have some videos loaded up that we are gonna share with you guys to be able to hear the sound of all the HR Star custom dark mouthpieces. So I think now would be a good time. Maybe Jody, could you introduce our special guest for tonight?
sure. So I would say that BetterSax is the most influential saxophone social media platform, YouTube, Instagram, and Jay is such a great player, which already gives it this super credibility, and you can trust what he's saying. You can hear it when he plays it. He's played a million saxophones and a million mouthpieces, and he studied jazz, and he knows how to communicate it. So I'm amazed at how many students he has through his courses that you can buy, and then he has so many others that they're kind of checking out the free content on YouTube and stuff, and which is a tremendous amount of great content. But I would encourage anybody, especially if you don't have a private teacher and you're kind of going this on your own, even you used to play, maybe you're back, but get some instruction and check out Jay's courses. He's got the BetterSax, which you can play along, because when we're sitting in our room alone, you want to play with something. So the tracks are great. And it's been great to get to know him. I think I met him for the first time 2 years ago at NAMM, 2019, and it's been great to get to know him. He's had a great impact on our business just by doing some reviews and everything, and so I wholeheartedly recommend Jay as a person to check out and avail yourself of his courses. That is Jay.
Great. And let's welcome Jay to the stream.
Hey,
Hey,
Daniel,
man.
Jody, how's it
Hey,
going?
Jay.
Wow. Hey, thanks for that introduction, man. That's very nice. Very kind words of you there.
Heartfelt.
It's much appreciated.
Cool. Yeah. So, we're here to really chat about the HR style custom dark. So maybe Jay, you could start off and let us know how has your experience been with the whole line of mouthpieces.
Okay. Well, I've had each one kind of as they came out, and they're all great. Like all the JodyJazz mouthpieces I've played, and I could say this without any hesitation, they're all great, very well made, beautiful. You could count on them, These now we all go in like different cycles and different, as you've been playing for a long time, sometimes you want your sound to go darker, sometimes you want your sound to go brighter, and sometimes, depending. So I've been in phases where I want dark sounding mouthpiece, mainly on tenor. So the tenor custom dark has been great for that. And my first impression of that mouthpiece was like, okay, this is great because it's dark, but it's not the tubby sort of stuffy dark that, if you've played dark mouthpieces, you know what I'm talking about. You get into that thing, oh, it's dark, but the trade-off is this kind of stuffy tubbiness. This, the tenor one has I don't know what it is, how to kind of describe it, but there is a bit of edge in it, which is just right, which kind of gives you this full spectrum of harmonics and frequencies while still being in that dark end. So for me, it's great because it's kind of giving you, it's giving this full spectrum. Same with the alto. Now I'm someone who plays more of a brighter sound on alto, and I was thinking about this earlier. Your sound, our sound is always going to come through, no matter what we play, no matter what mouthpiece we're playing. Your concept, the sound you're hearing in your head, is really going to come through. A darker mouthpiece will kind of skew that a little bit to the darker side, and a brighter mouthpiece will do the same. So, I can get my sound on this alto piece, and it's a bit darker, a bit rounder, and it still sounds great. I'm very happy with the sound, like the recordings that I guess you're going to play later. I'm really happy with the alto sound on that. Yeah. And then for the soprano, this is the newest one, and I was really looking forward to this. Like, when I got the tenor, I was like, oh, this is great, but I hope he makes a soprano one day, and then and it was the alto, and I'm like, this is great, but I really hope this is a soprano one day. And then he came out with the soprano, and I hate when I have really super high expectations for mouthpiece, because then you don't want to be disappointed, right? But man, this was like, this is it. Played this soprano mouthpiece, and I'm like, this is my mouthpiece on soprano. So that's my experience so far with these mouthpieces.
That's awesome. And since we're talking about soprano mouthpieces, I'm gonna pull up a video of Jay playing the soprano mouthpiece. Then we can chat more about it. Okay. And give me a second. And here we go. Jay, I
Beautiful.
noticed you were playing a 3.5 reed on it on your size 7. Is that your usual setup?
I tend to play harder reeds on soprano. Um, and I think it's all, I mean, I talk about that in this video. Last week I did this video in case anyone hasn't seen it. It's a video where I'm talking about how to get a darker sound
Yeah.
on the saxophone, and I'm using these three mouthpieces as examples of, some of the things that we do in designing mouthpieces to go to the darker end. And then I also give some other tips that work for me. Like one of those tips is if I put on a harder reed, it's easier to get a darker sound on any mouthpiece, really. So yeah, on soprano, I guess it's always this sort of fight to be, there's always a fight to be in tune, and there's a fight to not have that shrill sound. So I think that's why I use harder reeds, and that's why I really love this mouthpiece, because it helps. I don't think of myself as a soprano player. Let's put it that way.
It's got a nice amount of air in the sound with that reed. What brand is that?
That's a Rigotti.
Okay.
It's a Rigotti Gold,
Do you think they tend to be maybe a little bit harder than a 3 medium Jazz Select? Or...
It's hard to, I can't really say with any accuracy because I haven't played the Jazz Selects in a while. I've been really on the Rigottis for a long time. Yeah.
I'm on the 3 medium Select Jazz on soprano, and it plays pretty nice.
Nice. And Jay, do you usually use the curved soprano?
Not usually. That's a new horn to me. And what I found was on that horn, it's much easier to get a truer recorded sound on it.
Huh.
So, knowing that I was going to be recording for this video, I'm like, all right, let me try with this. And I just, there's no question, the curved soprano, I get a much, a more accurate sound with it. And in the process of working with that, because I was kind of going back, I thought before I preferred the straight one, but now I think I prefer my curved one.
Do you think it's a little brighter because you're kind of more closer to the bell as opposed to up here?
I think it's mainly perceived, that brightness from, just because, and it's also like when we're trying to record soprano, it's tough, where you place the microphones with. So I think a lot of it is perceived just from the conditions, I think, that curved, I think sounds pretty dark, it just sounds more, it's like, I don't know. I really like the way it records, and I think when I have to record on soprano, I'm going to use the curved for that.
They're fun to play because you can hear yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think maybe we have a few questions. Maybe we'll take a few questions before we move on to talk about the alto, before the comments get cover up these questions. This is definitely a very popular question, and Jody, maybe you could answer this one.
So yes, we're trying to get it in the schedule. We're doing a few things right now, and but it's coming as soon as it can. So we'll start soon, and it's always a fun process because I have the others right with me while I'm playing. So I'll go down the line, and I'll say, what should this baritone feel like? And I can't wait because I'm anxious for myself to hear it and play it.
Cool. And since we're going on to the alto next, this is a question about the alto. Sexy Saxman says, is really digging the Johnny Hodges and Cannonball Adderley sound right now. Do you think this mouthpiece can help with that?
I do, and especially with the Johnny Hodges, and with the Cannonball, it's getting that reed that's soft enough so you get that nice buzz. But I think the mouthpiece, you'll hear Jay, he's got a really good all-around sound on it, and I know you think you use a 2.5, so you get a nice buzz on it. So I like it because sometimes when you're on a mouthpiece that's even more in the Cannonball style, you're hitting the top, and sometimes it's a little edgy, And I think this year, a lot of people have been trying to get away from the edginess. That's what I've been getting a lot in my 6 questions. I want to sound dark. I want to sound dark. But what do you think, Jay?
Yeah, it's funny. I've been listening to Cannonball today. First of all, I have to say, I don't know how to write in the chat, but I just saw Joey DeFrancesco saying he really likes my video. So I have to like acknowledge that because I'm a big fan of Joey DeFrancesco's music and now he's playing the saxophone. So that just means a lot to me. So thanks for that, Joey. Getting back to your question. Yeah, on that clip that we're going to hear in a minute, I'm playing a 2.5, but that's a 2.5 straight out of the box. So I would play that 2.5 for like a day. And then normally I would be playing on a harder reed, breaking in, and it might even be like a 3.5 that I break in over a while, or a 3 that, so yeah, I would generally play a harder reed, but if I just want to get a really good recording of something right there, I can get a nice 2.5 and get a good result.
Yeah.
Cool. I think now will be a good time to pull up the video of Jay playing the alto. So let me pull it up, and here we go.
La.
We lost the last note of Moonlight in Vermont there. Hey, yeah, so talking about that sound, it's good to have like to hear it and have that sort of reference. Same thing with that alto mouthpiece. It's dark, but it's got the little bits of the edge in there. You got some higher frequencies in there mixed in. And for me, that just brings out the darkness. That kind of accentuates, I don't know, it puts it in perspective. I don't know. It's like if you're looking at, in visual things, it's like you just having this range of low frequencies and a little bit of the high frequencies in there. That's what makes that mouthpiece special. And yeah, like I said, I'm happy with that sound. The only trade-off is in power and like volume with that. But this is not a quiet mouthpiece. It's just, it's not, you're not going to get the same volume you get from a DV or a Jet or the Super Jet.
And if you were going for Johnny Hodges, totally, would you edge up the reed strength a little?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that in that, I think it would be more. I would just kind of change the way I was playing.
Yeah, play softer too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was happy with that read. Yeah, definitely play softer. I said earlier, I was listening today to Cannibal on that Something Else record.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, his mouthpiece, like that New York Meyer mouthpiece compared to this, I mean, it's two different things. It sounds to me like he has quite like almost like a dark mouthpiece, but his sound brightens it up. Like if I were to play in his mouthpiece, I think it would feel a lot darker than Cannibal sound. You know what I mean? So
maybe, yeah. Some of those great old Meyers, even the little fives, just are so open. They feel, when you play the greatest Meyer ever, which that one was one of them, they have everything. They have a brightness to them, a lot of big top end, but they have a big bottom, and those are very hard to find, and they're, cost over $2,000 nowadays, but they're good.
Right. So how would you compare? I mean, is there some similarities for you in this custom dark to a great New York Meyer?
Well, there was one thing when I started making the Alto and I went from the tenor shape inside, it didn't have enough of what Alto players are used to, which is some kind of a specific feedback that comes back, and it gives you a vibration or a sound in your head that comes back and hits you here, and it was missing from using the tenor shape. So I started, and that was bringing in a little more brightness. So it has some of those components of a classic, what Alto players are used to, this classic thing, but not as much highs. When I have some couple of good Meyers here, and they have a lot more highs in them. And this has more bottom, less highs. It's not quite as buzzy, but that was another thing in getting enough vibration. A mouthpiece has to, when it vibrates as opposed to being kind of dead, that's when you get all the spectrum. So in playing it, it's definitely darker than a good Meyer, but it still has, what I'm saying, it still has that feedback that you can groove on. When you're making these shapes, even the shape that you put the table on the mouthpiece, if that angle is not right, air could just go through and you get nothing back. It's like you're just expending air. Or if you do it the other way, you might get a hiss. All this stuff, these little things that go through all the prototypes. But so I have to think, well, this is an Alto mouthpiece. It's the custom dark Alto, but it's an Alto mouthpiece. So I want to give Alto players something that they're used to. So there's part of that probably gets is informed by the classic Alto mouthpieces that people have played, which includes the Meyer.
All right.
So is that too nerdy? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think the problem, not the problem, but the issue is with a lot of those vintage mouthpieces that they weren't made on machines. There was such a degree of variation from one to the next.
Well, that's the thing, finding the great one.
Yeah.
And most of them have been refaced.
Yeah, and they're old, so I mean, over that age, just that aging process is not always fantastic.
Yeah. And we have a good question here for both of you. Is there a difference in technique and skill needed with a darker mouthpiece?
Do you have an idea on that, Jay?
Well, no, that's an interesting question. When you start as a beginner, we generally start you off in a smaller tip opening, darker mouthpiece, and beginners will find, in my experience, that like brighter, powerful mouthpieces with a big baffle in them and stuff will be a lot harder to control, harder to play in tune. The sound will be really shrill because they haven't developed their embouchure. So yeah, I would say if you're developing your sound and you're in that real sound development stage, you're going to have an easier time getting a pleasing sound with a darker mouthpiece.
I concur. Yeah, that somebody who's not developed might bite too much on a brighter mouthpiece. But I'm getting so many questions from your BetterSax people, Jay, that they're playing on a Yamaha 4C and they want a darker sound. So if it's time for you to be on a Yamaha 4C, like in your first 6 months, let's say, and that go with that mouthpiece. If it's a Yamaha 4C, it's a good mouthpiece. It was made well. If it's a stock mouthpiece, it could be terrible. It might be leaking. You don't know. So, but what I'm saying, if you have, for example, a Yamaha 4C, you're getting a too bright sound because you're playing a 1.5 reed. Or, that if you play a soft reed, too soft reed on a dark mouthpiece, you'll get a plasticky sound. So edge up the reed to get a little bit darker. And then what this is going to do, change it. It's going to get bigger, like a custom dark, bigger, more volume, and more fullness, but it'll let you punch also more than the Yamaha 4C. So
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
thank
for
you.
sure. I think a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's a certain amount of people that start with the saxophone, they get very excited, and then they want to get all the goodies, which is normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to mouthpieces, and this goes for not just saxophone, but lots of things, you really want to develop that sound. And if you got like Jody said, if you got a 4C, you should be able to make that sound pretty good first, and then start looking into other mouthpieces. Because if you can't get a decent sound on that basic Yamaha mouthpiece, spending a lot on an upgrade isn't going to help you a lot.
Thank you so much for answering that question. We have some nice comments here. Anderson says all the custom dark versions sound so good. Great balance in all of them tone wise.
thank you.
And we have Joey saying he has some great Mayas and the custom dark is every bit as good or better.
Wow.
Great.
Thank you, Joey.
Wow. And um Joeysta says thank you so much for the information. He just changed from stock to Yamaha 4C today and finally stopped squeaking on the Soprano.
There you go. That what do you call that? Stock mouthpiece can be a killer. At the trade shows, sometimes I go around and I play the student horns and I ask them, can I play the mouthpiece that comes in the case? Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're really, really bad. And it's like my cause is that no kid ever gets something that bad that would sabotage them in band, because that could just make them quit band. So any band directors out there, teachers out there, play your students' equipment or have somebody play it. Make sure it's all working.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that too. The some of those stock mouthpieces can be, they're not, the tip is not, at all straight. The reed is just not able to do the job of sealing.
Yeah.
And squeaks, a lot of times squeaks are a result of just that, the unevenness of the table or the facing or the tip, and that reed just, has to squeak, because everything's not working as it's supposed to.
Yeah. Somebody wanted the comparison of this HR Star.
William, JodyJazz HR style to the HR style custom duck.
Daniel, do you think my sound is so bad it's not worth it through this system?
I think we could try. I think I might have found out the issue, and I'm
Really?
dealing with it.
So for people out there, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we did the custom dark soprano release with Jeff Kashiwa, Kirk Whalem, and Tom Scott. And Jeff got a sound that was like the best recording studio. He played with a track and he sounded so amazing. I called him up and said, Jeff, can you tell me every piece of equipment you're using? And I want to get it all. And so I have most of it, and he helped me a lot set it up. And we had a problem today with it, with the StreamYard or something. But so this is, I don't know, this is through my computer mic. But here's the custom dark. So tell me, wave your hand if I have to turn off my talk mic. I don't know. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think you have to turn off your talk mic.
Oh, okay. And let's see. So, can you hear the big difference on that?
I can hear the difference. Yeah, so
It doesn't
maybe
sound like you hear it as much as me. It's amazing. It's like feels like it's twice as loud and bright. So it's a big difference. But anyway, it's what I tell people all the time is get both, try both, and see what's best for you. Like I said, it's surprising that many contemporary players are going for this dark thing, because the soprano is kind of this wild beast that it needs a little taming sometimes.
Jody, could you try the same comparison on alto?
Is this sounding terrible?
I think it sounds quite good. Unfortunately I found out who the culprit is, and it's Jay.
Oh, don't blame Jay. He's the guest. You can't
So
be.
if
Jay
I
Metcalf.
mute Jay's feed, you sound good. So Jay, I'm so sorry I have to mute you while Jody speaks or plays.
Okay.
Okay. This is the custom dark alto. Let me see where the other alto is. This is a 7, and this is a 7 HR star. So custom dark alto. And we kind of play the mouthpiece, or I think I do sometimes. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I alter my playing. It depends on the song, because if it's a bam, 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 hard-hitting bebop thing or something, I'm going to play pretty hard on either of them. So I think I play to the song, but sometimes a mouthpiece makes you want to play a certain way. And these custom darks kind of invite you to play pretty.
Jody, I think you need to... Jody, could you try with your talkback mic off? Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, guys. Okay, that was a little softer and louder. It feels plenty loud to me here when I hit it. Now, of course, these two mouthpieces, the custom dark goes on much further on the neck. So it's something I always tell people, make sure you get in tune when you start playing that mouthpiece. Let's see, I got a different ligature for this one. So the custom dark body is a little smaller, and it takes a HRA1 minus power ring, and then this is a HRA1. This HR star, here we go. Okay, I don't know. Again, can you hear a lot of difference?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's get both when you can, play both. If you can ever play it on whatever situation you're playing in, try them out in that situation. I like them both, but I've been for me personally, I've been going that way, and I'm doing these dark mouthpieces on my gig, and I might sometimes use a little more mic so I can play softer, because it results in a little prettier feel. But
Jody,
thanks, Willie.
since you're edit, could you do the same comparison on tenor? We have a lot of questions about that. Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember. So this is the Custom Dark 8. 7 star is really popular. I've been playing a 9-star for the last couple months. Usually I don't play that open, but I don't know, I've been getting into it. But this is an 8. It's very sweet to me. And I spent some time before this show getting some different reeds together because I was seeing if I could get the same tone out of a 6-star and the 8. And so I'm using a little harder reed on the 6-star, and the tone is very similar. And that's one thing that I really work hard at when I'm doing prototypes, because if you don't really work at it, the smaller tip they get brighter. And the really big ones can get too dark for the series. So I'm always messing inside with the baffle height and stuff. Okay, custom dark 8. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Even softer, it'll get more air. If I punch it harder, it'll get brighter. Let's see. Okay, HR Star 8. So you hearing that?
Yeah.
Both, really love them. If you need a really versatile mouthpiece, you're playing on some brighter gigs, you're playing on some darker gigs, HR Star is quite a good mouthpiece. And but as I said, I got used to the custom dark, so I feel like unless I was on a funk gig, that's a loud funk gig, that's when I would need the brighter thing. And it's ultimately, when you get used to it, it's up to the player. You can change your embouchure a lot. Brecker used to get this thing to the side, so you get the corners off the side, and you can really brighten up the mouthpiece by not dampening those side of the reeds. All right, guys.
Ooh, I think, yes, now Jay is unmuted.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Maybe now would be a good time. Maybe Jay, I'll pull out your video on the Tenor HSR custom dark, and then we can talk more about the Tenor.
All right.
All right. Thank you for playing that for me, Jay.
Yeah, that was for
down
you
here in
guys.
Georgia.
I did all places, in my so I thought I got to do Georgia.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great. And Jay, I noticed you're on a 7-star there. So those of you watching, you can hear the difference. Jody was on a size 8, Jay was on a 7-star. Jay, is that your default tip opening for Tenor?
I pretty much say, I'll take a 7-star, and on Tenor, pretty much, I think, almost all my mouthpieces are 7-star on Tenor. I like, so for me, on a dark mouthpiece, you want to be able to get subtone, right? That's part of the deal, right? You want to be able to have that sort of subtone if you need it, like the Ben Webster thing or the Dexter thing in a low range. But what I love about this mouthpiece is is that you can also play, full tone down there and get a immediate response, which you don't always get with dark mouthpieces in the low range. Some dark mouthpieces like have great subtone, but then when you play full tone, it's almost like there's a little delay or you have to overblow or something. This and in that clip is not really, but in that full video, I play like a low B, and I remember full tone, but it just pops out without being like overblown. And I remember that one note, like, that's what you want. That's like everything. You get to, that's giving you all the things you want in that dark tenor mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I
Thanks,
think
Jay.
this is, what, Jay, you mentioned might be slightly related to one of these questions from Donnie. Donnie is asking, can we hear it in a band context with electric instruments? Um, and I think the best way is to check out players like Jeff Kashiwa, Mike Burton. They've been playing the custom duck for quite a while, and in actually quite bright contemporary jazz settings as well. So do check it out. We won't have the chance to play the videos out for you today. So Jody, maybe you can share a bit more about that as well. How does the custom dub handle in bright situations, loud situations?
Yeah, I mean, I would have never thought that Jeff Kashiwa would have changed. He was on DVs for years, but I think he had got a new horn for a few years ago, and he said, Jody, I'm on some darker. It was the horn that made him start going that way. And he had recorded an entire album on his DV. And when he got the custom dark tenor, he's like, he retracked the whole album. He did the tenor parts over on his custom dark. And this is contemporary, I guess, for lack of a better term, smooth jazz, more or less. Jeff's tunes are so great, but and then he got the alto and he retracked the alto, and then he got the soprano and he did the whole album over. So, and it sounds like it's born to be there, but it doesn't have that same thing. It's just like Kirk Whalum. He doesn't try and pierce through. He just lays in there nicely, and it sits in the mix beautifully. It's a different thing. If you're really going for the very cutting thing, then this is not it. But it works in that contemporary stuff. It's surprising to me, and it's shocking to me that he retracked the whole record, replayed all his parts. So look for those things for Jeff, and you can really hear it. And like you said, Mike Burton sounds great on it.
Yeah. And I think Jeff mentioned he just played on a track that is like a Tower of Power type track, and he did it on the the custom duck. So it's pretty amazing. The spectrum of sounds.
As when we record, often in the studio, we're always saying to the engineer, hey, can you back off some highs? Can you get off, and especially when you're playing live, those sound men have the highs, and they're killing you. You're already on a loud mouthpiece with highs, and they just pumping it. So you have to really get them to back it down. So with this thing, it just lays in there, and you're not messing with EQ. Something.
Thank you. And Jim says, Jay, such a pleasant tone.
Thank you, Jim.
Joey says, nice.
Thank you, Joey.
I think this would be a good question for Jay. How does the custom duck relate to a bronze sax compared to a more standard brass-bodied one?
I don't. For me, the material that saxophone is made of has so much less impact on the sound than a mouthpiece does. And especially, on this tenor, I'm playing with that KB sax neck. then, and that neck has more of an impact on the overall sound than the bronze material. You know what I mean? So for me, that material is towards the end of the line of important, impactful things on the sound. So I would say, play this mouthpiece, or really any mouthpiece, whatever, with whatever saxophone you love to play on, and don't get too caught up in the materials.
Cool. Thank you so much for that. And I think before we move on to any more questions, we definitely want to talk about the exciting topic of the giveaway. So maybe Jay, you can share a bit more about how people can take part, and I'll drop the link in the comments as well.
Well, so we're doing a giveaway with Jody, and that was kind of part of this whole thing. We're talking about these mouthpieces, and I wanted to do a video on these mouthpieces because I was excited about them. And I was talking to Jody. He's like, "Oh, let's do a giveaway like we did in the past." So, and then you were like, "Oh, let's do a thing." So we kind of all worked together, and we put together the whole thing. So, I announced this in the video from last Friday. When I do my giveaways, it's usually a week. So today we're Wednesday, right? So we got 2 more days, plenty of time to get your entries in. And this is with all my giveaways. You just need an email address to sign up. It's totally free. But you can get bonus entries. I think you can get like 13 entries by visiting, the JodyJazz website and Facebook page and BetterSax, and also my new website, BetterSax, and that YouTube channel. So it's all of the bonuses are all like stuff hopefully you'll like. It's like saxophone content and good stuff. But yeah, and it's open to everyone worldwide. I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, if I win," and last contest we had a winner in Bolivia. Okay, I was very happy, and they were so excited to get the mouthpiece there. And then I had winners. I've had winners in Nigeria. I've had winners in Australia. Often, a lot of the times, the winners are mainly in the U.S. and Europe, but that's just because statistics. But yeah, everyone enter, no matter where you are.
And definitely, we want to put a disclaimer out that the platform that runs the giveaway chooses the winners automatically, just purely by chance. So I've had people tell me that I got 13 entries. How come I didn't win? But Jay, I think you are now currently at 37,000 entries. So
That's it.
yeah,
We need more entries in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry for everyone that doesn't win. And everyone who does win is always like, "I can't believe I won." I never win anything. And this is the app we use is Gleam. And it's, with that many entries, you need to use a really sophisticated software because, not that anybody cheats, but, this eliminates the cheating. It eliminates a lot of, potential problems with bots and things that people could do. And it gives you really fair results with a random, it's a very sophisticated random number generator that picks those winners. So now I am going to be announcing the winners on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live on Instagram and YouTube. So if you entered, show up to that live stream or watch it, and you will find out if you've won. After we pick the winners, I email the winners using the email address you used. So if you didn't use one, you check. I've had that before where people have won something really nice and then they never answer their email. So so that's Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Check that out, and good luck to everyone who's entered.
And we'll get to you once we know the winner. We'll email you and say, "What do you want? Alto, tenor, soprano, what tip opening?" I may run you through the 6 questions so I know what tip opening is best for you. So that's how that can work. You can get any one of them. And I think there are 2 winners, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And how do they actually go? What do they do? Where do they get this, Jay? On YouTube or?
Daniel, did you share the link?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've dropped the link in the comments, and it's also in the description of this video, which will be uploaded on the JodyJazz YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's you definitely, yeah, people can definitely find it if they
Yeah, you
want.
find it on Instagram, on YouTube, on my
Yeah.
Facebook, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, and let's jump back to a few more questions. We have actually a comment. Suzanne saying, listening to all the comparisons, I feel I need to change all my mouthpieces to his custom duck series. Oh, that's a great thing.
Suzanne, I have 3 young children from 7 to 12. So yes, you need to change to the Custom Dark series. They need new shoes.
Yeah. Sexy Sexman says, at this point, Jay might give away a solid silver Yanagisawa when he hits 1 million subscribers.
Okay,
So
if I hit
we'll
1 million subscribers, I'll see about that. I don't even have a solid silver Yanagisawa though.
Do they make a solid silver?
No, I bet they could. I don't know if
Seems
they
like
do
it'd be
though.
pretty heavy. And
I think they do. I used to have a solid silver horn. I had a solid silver Dave Gardella saxophone.
really?
Yeah. Because he was on Long Island. I know we can't, he's like somebody you can't mention his name. But yeah, so I had a solid silver horn. I sold it a long time ago.
We have Jim saying, winning one for sure would be nice, but Jody's mouthpieces are worth the price. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know we have a question earlier from Vini, which is quite a good one, but I need to scroll back. So give me
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I think it was about there we go. So Vini was playing a DV7, and if he were to get a custom dark, would it be a size 7 as well?
Good question. You're going to feel a little more resistance from the Custom Dark with that big chamber. And and you've got to use a little harder reed with that DV because it blows so free. So this is a very free blowing. The Custom Dark is a free blowing mouthpiece, I would say, but big chamber like that, you've got to put some more air into it. So I would ask you how much you practice. If you get more than 8-10 hours a week, I'd probably play the 7. I've been playing the 7 myself, and I play usually a 7 DV. So I'd probably play it and expect to use a little softer reed. If you get 4 hours a week, I think I would tell you to go down to the 6. So big chamber mouthpieces, sometimes you go down. But like Jay was saying, a lot of those big chamber mouthpieces are really stuffy. This is not stuffy. So if you have the chops, you can play the same tip opening.
I think, Jay, you play a size 7 across all the different models, right?
Yeah, 7-star on tenor, and then 7 on alto and 7 on soprano.
Yeah. Cool.
And most of people that aren't professionals probably should play one step down. And if they only get a couple hours a week or something, one more step down, like a 5 on alto, and maybe 6-star on tenor, 5-star, 6-star soprano. But this is what I do all day. Talk to people about this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And there's nothing wrong with playing a 5 or a 6 either. And I can be happy on a 5 or a 6. I would play harder reeds. As you get the nice thing is you kind of get bigger tip openings. You could put a bit more air through the horn, and I like to put a lot of air through the horn, so it definitely helps with that.
DeFrancesco for president on a 10-star. Joey plays trumpet, so he is used to pushing, getting that air, using it to the maximum. We all need to do that. But I put that 6-star on today on the tenor, and I was really getting a tone. And if you play it for a minute, then for a couple weeks, you kind of open up here and you get the big tone. Ben Webster, Coleman Hawkins did not play big tip openings. So, uh, with your exception, Joey, nobody's a hero playing a big tip opening. Play the tip opening that's best for you, so you don't get fatigued in your practice session or on your gig. Because if you're not playing more than 2 or 3 hours a week, you're going to get tired on the big tip opening. But you can get a great sound on a small tip opening. So.
And this question maybe is good for Jay. How would you compare the custom duck to a more common duck mouthpiece or other darker mouthpieces?
Yeah, okay. So I've got a V16 7 that I used to play on, when it first came out, because I started playing the V16 on the Alto when they first came out with that Alto piece. And I was in New York, everybody was playing on those pieces. It's a good piece, nice mouthpiece. When they came out with the tenor piece, I got that and I kind of liked it. But now, that is, for me personally, that's just one of those mouthpieces that can get a bit stuffy for me. It's a good mouthpiece, but comparing it to the custom dark, I don't know. I feel like there's a broader spectrum of frequencies in the custom dark. Although you might the Van Doren V16 might have a little bit more power though. But it's been a long time since I played that mouthpiece, so I can't really.
Yeah, I think it's a little brighter.
Yeah.
The Van Dorens have a thing that many people like, I think, and it's when you blow into it, I feel this is a generalization, but I feel that it kind of hugs you a little bit, like you blow in and it guides your sound through. It's a little bit of tight feeling. It's not a closed feeling or a bad feeling at all. It's a different feeling from this to this. I don't know. That's how it feels for me, and it's like I say, a lot of people like that feel when you blow in there. But there's a definite difference of approach, I think, in my stuff and their stuff. And they're a great company, make very good mouthpieces. So.
Yeah, thank you, Samuel, for that question. And we have Hail Lord Gong, who says he has one as well, and it's a little stuffy sometimes.
Yeah.
Hail Lord Gonk.
Yeah, I really like my Van Doren. I wonder if I have it here. It's great on alto, but on tenor, I think I have a tenor here. Where is that? Oh yeah. Oh no, that's not it.
Michael, thanks for buying this custom dark.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. We didn't make enough when we released it. We were surprised by the demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the tenor, these V16 tenors are a lot different than the altos, but they do the different chamber sizes. So it depends on which chamber size you get. I think when I got mine, they weren't doing different chamber sizes, or they had more limited ones. So I think it really depends on your chamber for these.
And Joey says everybody needs a custom duck.
Joey.
And Stefan says he's convinced. Yeah, I guess, no harm giving it a try, even though you're on brighter mouthpieces and you enjoy that, I think Jody has a trial and return policy, and you can also use the 6 questions to just share a bit more about your playing experience, what's your current setup, and then Jody can recommend you the right one. Michael says it was Jay who sold it, sold him on it, through his video. So that's definitely great. And yeah, we are definitely coming down to the last part of this live stream. So if you have any last questions, please do let us know. At the same time, I'm gonna drop in the giveaway link one more time in the comments. So follow all the steps there and try to get as many entries as you can for this competition. And I'm also gonna drop Jay's websites, both BetterSax and BetterTrax. I'm gonna drop it in right now. And BetterTrax is definitely the newer website. So maybe Jay, would you like to share a bit more about BetterTrax?
Yeah, that, this was an idea I had to, get some new backing tracks up there because, we all practice with backing tracks. And, you know, most people probably like me have played a lot of Jamie Aebersold tracks, and it's great. But I think it's great to have some new versions to some of the same tunes, some tunes that maybe aren't, you know, that aren't in there, and something that's kind of available digitally, where you get the tracks, you click a button, and you download them, and you're playing, and they're on your phone. You're playing them instantly, and they're kind of designed to be used for practice, but also to use on gigs. Like if you were, it's a new, this is a thing that didn't really exist before. I'm not trying to put rhythm section players out of work, but it's just the reality that now a lot of saxophone players can put on a backing track like a singer or like anybody else and do a gig. So they're designed with that in mind. There's no count. There's no like somebody counting in the track. It just starts as So you could make a playlist of these and do your cocktail set or do whatever, and it'll sound great. And also, so the length of them is kind of designed around that, where it's long enough so you can blow and have fun, but it's also the right length for performance. If whether that's going to be on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever, it's kind of designed for what we're doing these days.
Great, thank you so much, Jay.
Cool.
And we're gonna jump into a question about the custom dark with dark sounding saxophones by Jose. So Jody, maybe you could look at this question. So how
Um,
does yeah
yeah. Well, I've been playing mine. Uh, I I have two Mark Sixes here and a really good super balanced action Selmer and a really good Taiwanese horn. And then this horn I got when I was 15. It's a Con 10M, and it's one of the best Con 10Ms I've ever played. And I've come back to this horn with this mouthpiece because they complement each other so well. I can just dig in there and I can try and feel Dexter and everything. So, and I'll put it. I have one of those Mark Sixes as a nice bright one. Like I bought that one after I played Andy Snitzer's horn, which is Michael Brecker's second tenor that he has. And so I wanted that bright horn. It feels great on that, but I just really groove into it with this horn. So the dark horn. I don't know really how dark that Selmer reference 36 is. What is that 36? Is that a modern horn?
yeah, so modern horn based off the SBA tenor.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I really think it comes back to the thing that Jay was talking about in material of would it make it darker or everything. Most good mouthpieces are going to play well on most horns. One might pop better on another, but I could be happy with this mouthpiece on all these good horns. These are all, every tenor I just mentioned is great, but they're just a little different. So I think it would smoke on there. So
Yeah.
on a kind of a dark horn.
Yeah, and Jose, I'm playing a SBA myself as my main horn now, so that could be the closest comparison. And yeah, the custom duck works perfectly on it. I think for some saxophones maybe it gets stuffy or something like that, but yeah, for me it works great. So that's the closest I can answer. Let's see. We have. Yeah, Ben says he loves the Super Jet on Alto, but the HR Star Custom Duck is just as special for him on tenor and soprano. So that's amazing.
That's cool. Hey, Jay, what do you think about having two mouthpieces instead of just one, like at the opposite ends of the spectrum?
Yeah, man. So this is a big question. I'm going to do a video just on this topic because on the one hand, not everybody is going to be like, you, Jody, with a million saxophones and mouthpieces, or me, same thing, or Daniel. Most people, they're going to have, one, maybe two horns and a couple of mouthpieces. But part of that is because there's this kind of belief, like get one mouthpiece, stick with it for life, and that's it. And there's a lot of professional players who've done exactly that. Nothing wrong with that. And I was kind of like that too. But in my time of playing lots of mouthpieces, and it's, I would hate to miss out on all of the fun and it's just all the other options that are out there. So I'm not telling anybody to go out and buy a million mouthpieces, but if you can, it's fun. It is a lot of fun to have different mouthpieces and to change it up. Now, there's this thing where way up, but if I need to focus on one mouthpiece to get my sound really good. Yeah, but if what I've found is by playing lots of different mouthpieces and switching up a lot, it's actually made me more flexible and even, more at ease on the mouthpieces that I'm super comfortable with. And it's really expanded my comfort zone. So instead of just being comfortable in one thing, now I can be comfortable on a dark mouthpiece, bright mouthpieces, and everything in between. And for me, it's really helped my playing and it helped me find my sound more by using this variety of equipment rather than staying in this one sort of thing. So I don't know if that's answered your question, but I would say, yeah, it's a good thing. It takes time, but it's definitely, there's lots of benefits to having multiple mouthpieces that cover different territory.
Well, I always tell it because I thought the same way as everybody else, one mouthpiece. And I was in my loft in New York, surrounded by mouthpieces. And I think I was playing a DV at Alto at the time. And I got a call for this theater gig where the actors weren't going to be mic'd. And I was about to go down there with that DV. And I said, why am I doing this? So I grabbed the HR Star 5M. And it was the first time that I thought, hey, maybe you should have, and so you get that right mouthpiece for the job and those two spectrums. And then you can it feels great when you've got the perfect right read, the perfect right mouthpiece, the perfect mix in the monitors, everything. And that mix in the monitor can be helped a lot by the penetration that you can make with the mouthpiece. So that's cool, Ben. Thanks for that comment.
Yeah. And I always feel like, guitarists, they have acoustic guitar, electric guitar, or
And they have a
hollow
million
body
pedals.
guitar. Yeah, so why should we as saxophonists not have that ability to just pick on the different palettes that we, or just our mood, for that very given day.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's definitely, without saying go out and buy this and that and the other thing, it's fun. And I've personally enjoyed. I'm so glad I got all these mouthpieces. Now you can't always play them all. But but it's also fun to be trading, selling, buying other ones. It's I would hate to miss out on that. Don't miss out on that if you play saxophone.
Yeah. So I see also we have quite a few questions asking Jody for recommendations. So I think the best way would be for me to drop in the 6 questions link again. And then I think that can be done offline. And use this link that I'm dropping in the comments right now. Answer the 6 questions and Jody will get back to you personally. I think that will be the
I can
best.
tell I'll be up all night tonight. Jay, I was doing Sunday, I was answering a lot of 6 questions because you did that video, the custom dark video. And I was busy.
That's great that you do that for people, man. That's great.
Yeah, and it's me, and there's usually, I have some pre-prepared answers, but I'll have these different combinations of mouthpieces to try. And then this weekend, I probably made up like 7 or 8 new combinations. I make a whole new email, and then usually they do some comments at the end where I have to come in and say a personal thing to them. So, but I really like it. It's, it lets me really know the customers.
Yeah, for sure.
I think people really appreciate it. Like I can't think of another, head of a company that is, willing to set aside time. And you have three kids, I still marvel at how you manage to, reply to every single, six questions form. It's amazing. And I'm sure people appreciate it. And we see so many comments about people who found their right mouthpiece, thanks to your reply. So that's amazing. So let me just glance one more time. Yeah, I think that's about it. So if you guys, I really appreciate some of you are typing long questions and sharing about your experience and wanting a recommendation from Jody. I think the best way would be to use the six questions, but maybe we could end off with one, and then just one recommendation from Jody. We have Stacy. Stacy says she's a returning player and she's currently learning pop and rock songs like Careless Whisper, Baker Street. She feels the sound now is too pretty, and she wonders if a different mouthpiece would help her, and what will you recommend?
Okay, Stacy. My question would be, first question is, how many hours a week do you get to play, and what exact reed you're using? And Jay, have you played that upgraded AS4 mouthpiece?
Uh, yeah, it's kind of like, it's like
Elmer C Star, right?
yeah, something like that. It's in that zone.
It's a square chamber, I think.
I think I have one here.
So, so what's happening, Stacy, is that's keeping you a little bit down on the farm to get that brighter sound. And I would have you try our HR Star and our Jet. And depending on how much you practice, either a 5 or a 6. And the reed that you're using with the AS4 to get a good sound should be maybe around a 3, or it could be even a 3.5, but a 2.5 starts to be a little soft. But I'd probably recommend about a 2.5 jazz reed on those HR Star and Jet. So that's what I would recommend. If you go to, as coming back into it, kind of being a beginner, I think if you go to a Super Jet, which is probably what you'd ultimately play on those tunes, that might be too hard for you to handle right now. And you'll get plenty of brightness out of either one of these, the HR Star or the Jet. They've got different facing curves, so it depends sometimes how much mouthpiece you take in. If you take in more or less, one might work better than the other. And the Jet's definitely brighter. So I find when I go out to people, it's about 50-50 which one they like, Jet or HR Star. And they're priced, I think, really well. So that's my recommendation. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
would just
so
add to that coming from a mouthpiece like this, the HR Star is going to be, especially if you go up to like a 5 tip opening or something, it's already going to be a big difference for you. So,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to be, so that might be a good place to start because you're going to feel so much brighter when you go there, but it won't be too much.
Yeah, if I had to recommend one only for those players that are kind of getting back into it and everything, the HR Star might be a little easier to jump onto, whereas the Jet, with that shorter facing curve and brighter feel, some people can make it sound shrill. So if you had to pick one, it's HR Star. If you're able to do a trial, always do a trial. If you don't mind sending something back. Okay, thanks, Jay.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jay, and Stacy as well. Thank you for your question. And yeah, we're down to the end of this live stream. And thank you so much, Jay, again, and Jody, for taking the time out to doing this and educating everyone watching. And this video is still gonna be up on YouTube. And yeah, I think most importantly, we wanted to bring your attention to the whole line, the whole series of the HR Star Custom Dark. So please go out and try it at your nearest JodyJazz dealer. And if for whatever reason they haven't stocked it yet or they don't have it yet, you can definitely order directly from the JodyJazz website as well. They have a trial and return policy, and also, before you do that, use the 6 questions form, and Jody will be very happy to assist you on that. And do take part in the giveaway organized by Jay. The link is in the comments already. And yeah, do follow him, subscribe on YouTube, follow him on Instagram and Facebook, and as well as all the social JodyJazz social media pages as well. So Jody, any final words before we head off?
Yes, Jay, thank you so much for the things you're doing for the saxophone community and for JodyJazz. We really appreciate it. I want to encourage everybody, thank them for coming to listen today, and really encourage you, if you're working on saxophone, do get some help. It can make a big difference. Studying is shortcuts. It can take you so much further. We just want to have fun and make beautiful saxophone sounds. So the equipment thing is not the end game, but getting the right equipment can just put you so much further, and getting the right tips and everything. So take a look at Jay's courses and really avail yourself of that, because it's going to give you more enjoyment. Thank you, Daniel. You do a great job every time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. And Jay, any final words for everyone who's watching?
Yeah, well, I think we're all in agreement. Yeah, uh-oh. Yeah, thank you, Jody, for all the great mouthpieces. And thank you, Daniel, for hosting this. This is great. You're gonna have to give me some tips on how, because when I do my live streams, it's like my phone, man. But yeah, this has been great, as always.
Cool, awesome. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Once again, this video will still be up on the JodyJazz YouTube page. And yeah, if you joined in late, you can check out all the clips and discussions below as well. So yeah, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.